starting recording so that for future, if you want to refer, you can refer. Okay. I think we'll wait for another 2 minutes so that few people are actually joining from different country. So for them, it will be little difficult. Maybe let's wait for another 2 3 minutes. So okay, I think meanwhile I will just introduce my profile uh, and my company profile also. You are able to hear, right?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, okay. So okay, so what I will do, I'll just try to introduce my company and also what we currently do, and also a brief introduction about my profile also. Okay. So to start with, the company name is I Signal Research. We have a separate dedicated training also with respect to 4G and 5G. Mainly, predominantly work on the RAN solutions. It means the interaction between UV and the base station. I hope you are getting the terminology. Maybe if you are not able to get, no problem. I think we can discuss also that part. If you have any questions, I'll take it at the end. So to just give a brief introduction about our company, we are into wireless RAN solutions. Okay. Yeah. So we are into wireless RAN solutions, which means 4G and 5G predominantly, and we are currently working on some different department. Basically, it is research department as well, like using artificial intelligence and different advanced technologies, basically. Okay. So we are there since around 7 years. So we have started this company in 2017. I am the founder of the company. My name is Sriram. I worked for different companies like Intel, Samsung, Nokia, and also MediaTek, and some different service-based companies like Infosys, L&T, and one of the startup also I worked, which is 3G Network Solutions. So my expertise and interest is into mainly L1 and L2 and L3. Basically, like we have something called as protocols. Like L1 protocol is physical layer, and L2 protocol is RLC, MAC, and PDCP, and depending on 4G or 5G, the SDAP involved in 5G aspects for the core network communication. uh, that's the thing. And um, okay, so I think this is just a brief introduction about my profile also. Majorly involved in development and some part of testing also, but predominantly worked for the protocol stack for both 4G and 5G. And 5G, my last company is Nokia, and I worked for scheduler basically in the 5G area. So this is just a brief introduction about my company and also my expertise. And we are into training for almost 6 to 7 years. We help multiple professionals in the past. Currently, people are working in. I mean, our students are actually working with some 3 4 years of experience. Generally, few people will attend this course, okay, because of not awareness or realizing very lately, things like that. Okay. So and but actually protocol has so much potential even in the upcoming 5G and 6G as well. Okay, so we help multiple professionals. Few people are working in Samsung and Parallel Wireless, and also Capgemini and HCL, Mavenir, and Nokia also. Okay, so few of the companies people are currently working. Some people are working in Qualcomm as well. Okay, so this is the just a brief introduction about the company and profile, and also the companies where we refer basically. Okay, after the our successful training and some mock interviews and all. So okay, so with this background, I think we can start. Just give a brief introduction about your profiles. Maybe Sandeep, you can start. Are you there, Sandeep? I think you can unmute and you can speak. Hello, hello, Sandeep, are you there? Okay, I think he's not speaking. Maybe. Yeah, Pattabiram, I think you can introduce your profile.
Hi Sriram, myself Pattabhiramian. I'm currently working on Amplitude India Private Limited as R&D engineer. I'm having a 2 years of experience in telecom side. Yeah.
Okay. What is the company name you are working currently?
Anritsu India Private Limited.
Anritsu. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
one more person actually attended the demo. His name is Sunil. Sunil Kumar.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Anritsu.
he's my
He is
ex-colleague.
working in
Yeah,
Anritsu only. He is having little
yeah.
background. He has already attended the demo. He,
Okay.
yeah. We are just checking back with him if he is interested in going ahead. But basically, we encourage to go into the development because testers will be less number of people. Basically, it means like if the employment people gets majority of the time, they won't go into the growth mode. Basically, that is one thing. I don't want to discourage anybody, but that is a fact actually. So for every 40 to 50 developers, one tester will be there, a protocol tester or protocol architect, depending on the levels. Basically, multiple levels of testing spread across multiple roles. Basically, okay. So Pattabiram, I think you are in protocol side or RF or some RF testing.
Not testing in the development like R&D development. Yeah.
Okay. Not into the testing. Okay, R&D means you are working on some scenario development, maybe, right?
Yes, correct.
More majority of the time, scenario development. Okay, fine. I think let's begin our discussion. Maybe Sandeep can join. He'll be joining in some time. Yeah. So I think you're able to see the screen, right? I have just mentioned the code. Is it visible? Can you please confirm?
No, we cannot able to see your screen. Can you
Code.
share it again?
Actually, that is code, basically. Okay.
Mm,
Just a second. I think
no.
somebody is joining. Is it visible now? Okay, let me just share the screen. Maybe that's why it's not coming. Now is it visible? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, now we can able to see. Yeah, yeah.
Now you can able to see, right?
Yeah,
I am actually sharing
yeah.
one um presentation. Can you see there is something called as 5G RAN demo?
Yes, Sridhar. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think few people also joined. Let's take introduction before going into the actual discussion. Maybe yeah, I think you can introduce yourself, Nitya, and yeah, Nitya. I think you can go ahead. Thanks for joining. Thanks everybody for joining. Can you give a brief introduction about your profile? Am I audible?
Hello, hi, Shriram.
Hi,
Can
Nitya.
you hear me?
Yes, yes. Thanks for joining. Odd time, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 7:30. I'm just taking my kid to school actually.
Okay, okay,
So,
fine. Yeah, you
I'll
can.
be just in mute for half an hour actually. I'll give the introduction in the later part of the class. Is that okay?
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Yeah, we can take
Okay.
it little later
Okay.
also.
I'll be
So
yeah, I'll be driving now, so
not a problem, not a problem. So for all the
uh,
participants here, don't worry about this discussion if you are missing anything. Okay, I'm just recording. I'll be sharing this in the YouTube video upload. Okay, you can just go through it. Not a problem. Okay. Yeah. So I think before going ahead, I think one more participant, Bala Bhaskar, can you please give a short, brief introduction about your current nature of work? You can unmute and speak. Hello. Yeah, I think, yeah, maybe I think we can.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, Bala Bhaskar. Yes. Please just
Yeah,
give a brief introduction and nature of work.
yeah, yeah. Hello, everyone. Myself is Balabhaskar. Uh, I have total 10 years experience in the telecom industry. Currently, I'm working with Mastech version. Here, I'm handling with AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon projects. Currently, we are working with I will deal with complete end-to-end RF work, from pre-integration, after post-integration onwards, pre-launch and post-launch activities, complete log analysis and KPI optimizations and everything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. So I think we can go ahead with our discussion. Maybe, yeah. So here I'm just giving some things. Today, just 5G RAN demo. Basically, it contains multiple roles. Here, the target audience, multiple targets audience are there. Because I not just help the people to get into the jobs, but I contribute to the standards in a way, in different way, like research and research results and contribution to the standards for especially for the RAN 1 and RAN 2 and RAN 3 the protocols from the 3GPP perspective. So basically, we'll see a little bit about these things. So who should attend this demo? Okay, RF, OEM, KPI, right? Multiple things I have mentioned. Some are actually applicable for testing profiles. For some are something applicable for the development profile. So this is for the people who are coming from different backgrounds, right? Never coded in their career, and people who are fairly stuck in the mid level of the career. Okay, and complementary skills. So sometimes people are working in some core part and they wanted to enter into the RAN part or access part. So those people also can come and join in this. So even though it is 2G, 3G, 4G, whatever, okay, so because we wanted to give a complete end-to-end learning solutions from the 4G and the 5G perspective, because in nowadays actually people are concentrating on the 5G because of the trend or future 6G aspects. But from the 4G perspective, if you are starting if you are starting I mean, if you are making a career starting from 4G perspective, that will be more relevant from the current trend and also from the future aspects from the 6G perspective. And the last one, L1 researcher, predominantly they will be working for the standards. Okay, there is something called as SCPs. SCP means standard essential patents. So this is like people who are much more interested in the research side, they can go. So this is not mandatory. I am just mentioning multiple categories of the engineers who are coming from this particular background here and there, whether it is GSM or 3G or 4G or any of the skill set basically. Okay, so let's go into the other part of the story. So this is the agenda. Okay, what I am actually trying to present today. Some are detailed discussions, some are a brief discussions, and we'll discuss about something related to what we are currently working on, either the 4G or the 5G aspects. This is purely not an RF background. I mean, not RF discussion, RF or anything. In fact, OEM, KPI planning, network planning and optimization, deployment configurations. So all these things are apart actually for today's discussion. Maybe you can try to get a good understanding about where we are actually heading in the 5G career aspects. Okay, so I'll just begin with this. Okay, so I think everybody needs a job and also different skill set, and also growing, wanted to grow in their careers. So that's why I'm just mentioning why we need the things. Okay, not just only job, it's only about the contribution to the industry also from the telecom perspective. So these are all the different reasons why we are actually going for a job. Some people are coming from the protocol testing background, some people coming from only coding background, some people coming from only domain background. They wanted to understand how it is implemented, right, and how it is tested. Maybe a testing will be a little bit easy also, but depending on the scenario, it may have its own little bit complications as well. Okay, so we'll try to understand the nature of works in the 5G aspects. Okay, updating to the current trend, 4G or 5G aspects. But when we are learning, even if you are going into the 4G also, that is well and good. Okay, because subject is little vast, and companies knows very well that 4G and 5G are little complex also, and if people are coming from the 4G background also people are ready to take. So in my case only, actually before joining Nokia, I was actually having 4G practical knowledge but 5G domain knowledge, but based on the 4G knowledge only they have taken me, and they kept in the 5G project. So it's like slow and steady. Once you join the project, then you will come to know what are the things are there. I work for 5G scheduler aspects from the 5G perspective, and L2, L1 like that. So we'll try to see different roles and different skill set, and also the nature of work, right? All those things that we can see. This is just an introduction. Maybe I think in today's discussion, I'm not going to discuss anything about 4G or 3G or 2G or 6G. Today, I'm going to discuss just a brief introduction about the basics. Maybe if you anybody are from the 5G background, I think um, you can expect what is actually going to discuss. So basics. So any technology will come with the basics, mobile broadband and also machine type communication, and ultra reliable URLLC communication. These are the broader use cases that we can make out from this particular picture. The octa diagram, you can see the concentration depending on what we are actually focusing on. Multiple use cases might come into the picture. So this kind of flexibility was not there from the 4G. Um, so some of the technology
Hello, Ram.
enables. Yes, please. Any questions?
Actually, your screen was not visible properly.
Or is it okay?
Now I can see.
Now it's visible. Okay, fine.
Yeah, now it's visible. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So sorry, actually I was in presentation mode. That's why might be you cannot able to see. So
Yeah, maybe I think.
so basics of KPI, basics and KPI. So it's like any technology, wireless technology. They have some KPI targets, right? Either latency or reliability, energy efficiency, and data rates. So predominantly because it is a IP technology, so we are concentrating on the data rates. But obviously, from the 4G success, we will be having much more data rate intensive applications, which comes under a broad category, EMBB and also MMTC and URLLC kind of categories. So in each category there are multiple applications, core related applications. For example, in mobile broadband we have gaming applications, AR and VR applications, like the different kinds of use cases that we can see. And in the MMTC side, multiple IoT sensors will come into the picture, because the expectation is definitely the connectivity, okay, rather than giving the higher throughput and things like that. Because small devices like sensors, they expect the connectivity definitely, but data rate is not much concern, maybe in the order of some 10 kbps or things like that. And in the ultra reliable low latency, obviously the latency is of top priority, and at the same time connectivity and reliability is also top priority. So like this, the broader category has been there in the 5G aspects that you can see. Okay, but this is the requirement in front of us. Okay, but what we can see from the quality of service perspective, these are all just an example. You can see all the examples comes under different use cases. For example, internet of things comes under a machine type communication. Okay, and also you can see robotics and drones comes under urllc, agriculture, right, multiple yeah, healthcare comes under urllc because remote surgeries that will happen. So these are all different use cases that we can expect. But first of all, how far the 5G has been went in practical from the implementation perspective by the different product companies like Nokia and Samsung and different companies. Okay, so but let's keep it aside and just try to understand from the architecture perspective how it has been designed. So we have the targets, we have the KPI targets, and also we have the use cases. But how the network is built, is the network ready, right? So that thing that we will try to understand, maybe from the 4G lessons learned or from the new solutions depending on the adaptation from the cloud technologies perspective also. Right, multiple things came into the picture here with like a because of this flexibility also we have to provide under a single architecture. So this kind of flexibility was not there from the LTE perspective. Okay, so that's the main reason we are going into a different flexible architecture. This is mentioned in one of the specification, 3GPP specification. Okay, so just give me a second. Okay, I'm just getting a call. Just a second. Sorry for that. Hello. ಅಣ್ಣ ಡೆಮೋನಾಗೆ ಇದ್ದೀನಣ್ಣ, ನೀನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ. ನಾನು ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಒಂದು ಹಾಫ್ ಆನ್ ಅವರ್ನೇ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಓಕೆ 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 ರೈಟ್. Okay. Sorry, I was in some different call. So, coming to the technology understanding, so we have something similarities that we can observe. Maybe people not from the LTE background, maybe I can just give an LTE just introduction in this. So basically, there is something called as any network. We have three parts. One is UV side, which means phones, smartphones, or anything, tablet, or anything which supports 4G technology. And the other one is access, means EUTRON, which is radio access network, which contains multiple base stations. So from the LTE perspective, we call it E node B, and from the E node B, we are actually connecting to the core network. So here, if you see the diagram, we are connecting to MME, means right from the MME it starts the core network. So UV is the UV domain. UV means user equipments, which is phones, and base station is the EUTRON domain, which means access network, and MME is the core domain. So all these things are core domain parts. MME is gateway, the P gateway, right? So these are all some functionalities which are little bit similar. Okay, and that kind of similar functionalities that has been adopted in the 5G. So maybe yeah, we can discuss in the actual sessions, but here to understand in brief parts, some parts are basically similar. Whatever the data whatever the network that you can take, all these things must be mandatorily providing the service in order to get connected and in order to get the services. But with the advent of the cloud technologies, okay, so earlier in the 4G cases, we have seen all the physical infrastructures, which is a very huge cost, and also maintenance cost, equipment cost, buying cost. So much of cost was there. So that has been reduced completely in the 5G because of the introduction of the network slicing, and also the software defined networking, and also network function virtualization. So these kind of technologies has come up. So that's why you can see different network slicing specific components, maybe that you can see here, NSSF, NEF, right? So these are all core network components. So it is vast actually, it is quite complex to understand, but just in brief, as a part of our course, that you can try to understand. Okay, so that will be discussed in much more detail with respect to the functionality, what ngRAN is doing, what UV is doing, what UPF is doing, how the entire 5G call works. Okay, so this is the biggest part to understand. Okay, right now maybe within the with respect to the time limitations. Okay, so I'll just go on to the different aspect. So this is also another kind of just representation. So there is something called as control plane and user plane. Control plane talks about the connectivity, and user plane talks about the data payload transfer. For example, in this case you can see the green color, the data flow is actually happening right from the internet, and it is going to the UPF, which is called as user plane function. This is one of the software component in the cloud, running in the cloud, and the base station, right? So these are the things how we represent, and also how the architecture, the big architecture looks like. Okay, this is purely 5G. There is no support from the 4G. Means we predominantly call it as SA. SA means standalone 5G. Means there is no dependency on the previous technology. Then we say that it is a standalone. Okay, so but to understand little bit in detail, getting into the context of the current discussion, which is called as protocols. Okay, so protocols are there for all the elements. Means predominantly this UPF and AMF. So that's what you can see here. There is something called as control plane protocol stack and user plane protocol stack. So when, it means how to understand this in a very simple term. For example, there is one song is ongoing. Okay, so if the song is ongoing, it contains two parts. One is soundtrack, and another one is player who is singing. So the player who is singing will call it as user plane. How it is done, that we will see. That is also a control and user payload basically. And control plane stack. Control plane stack means basically it is a soundtrack in our music song example case. Okay, so it means if you try to correlate these network elements or any user equipment. Okay, so I just put all the protocol stack in place, right? NAS session management. So this talks about the session management, this talks about the mobility management. So there are multiple protocol layers out there, you can see, right? It is quite complex to understand the entire thing, but I'll try to put it this one in a very simple way. From phone you are actually triggering something, or maybe you're doing a phone call, you're a 5G phone and you wanted to make a VoIP call or Vivo NR call, right? So how the air interface is actually behaving, so we call it as air interface, NRUU. This we actually call it as air interface, that is between physical layer and physical layer, MAC layer and MAC layer. These are all like protocols. Those are the actual rules who are actually, I mean, how to communicate, what are the different configurations, right? What are the different layers, how they are actually interacting. So if you remember like a TCP IP protocol, the way how it actually interacts, exactly the same way how it actually interacts. But depending on the technology, the type of the protocols will change. Means the way of communication is similar, but the point is what it is actually acting according to the technology. Okay, so that's the main thing. And you can see this is purely control plane. That's why you can see AMF and SMF. AMF means access management function, and SMF means session management function. So here we have seen AMF and SMF. So UPF is a user plane. That's why, since this is control plane, UPF is not there here. UPF means user plane function. So any questions until now? Just a brief introduction about this technology. Anybody have any questions, queries? Okay, fine. I think we can move on. User plane stack, right? So as you can see, there is a, okay, I think, sorry, I think I have not mentioned user plane here. Maybe this is also a control plane stack, sorry. User plane will come into the picture only if the SDAP is present. Okay, so I think this is a combination of both user plane and control plane. But here UPF is not mentioned. This is another way of representing. Basically, this is an NG-RAN architecture. NG-RAN means earlier I have mentioned this is a base station basically, right? So group of base stations we call it as NG-RAN. NG-RAN means next generation RAN. Okay. So these are all different protocols. I think I would repeat the same thing. IP data. Wherever IP data, you can consider it as a user plane data, and it is actually flowing through SDAP, PDCP, right from PHY. It is actually going to the air. Over the air, it actually uh, the packets or the control plane messages will be sent. Okay. Um, this is just a brief introduction. Okay, so there is a long discussion um, which goes on, but I would like to restrict according to the timing constraints to understand a brief introduction about this. Now, coming to this simple setup, means currently what we are actually working at the company. Okay, so we are RAN 4G. I mean, basically this is from one of the open source. Even if you are having the open source, it will be little difficult to understand from the code perspective. We need a little bit good skill sets basically. Okay, so SRS RAN is one project which is handling base station, and SRS UV is another project which is handling 4G. Means in 4G, this is a 4G solution from the SRS RAN. This is a open source basically, one of the company that we are actually taking for working on the same. Okay, and here you can see there is another open source which is Open 5Gs. Means whatever I have mentioned earlier, all the parts will be taken care. AUSF, UDM, all the components will be taken care. So that I will show you practically how the open source and things like that, those things will work. Okay, and so in between, if this is a practical setup, it is very clumsy, this diagram. Maybe a little confusing also sometimes. Complete details we cannot get it in a single go, but slowly you will come to know about these things. But here currently, yeah, so this is one thing that we are currently working on. Maybe I will show you some logs collection to get a detailed understanding about this. Okay, logs collection, I would say. uh, I hope you are able to get the screen. Okay, let me just share another one in order to give the practical insights. Okay, I would like to share another one which is built in display. Yeah. Okay, single window. Okay, so please confirm if it is visible. I am just sharing the logs. It's quite interesting actually. Maybe, yeah, you can please confirm if it is visible. I have shared something called as terminal.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, great. So what I'm trying to do here, I have just collected already because it's very difficult to show everything in one discussion. But what I'm trying to show you is I have collected some logs. I'll just try to show basically the visualization. I think you can make it like between a phone and the base station, 5G base station, and also the 5G core. Okay, so all these things are in place, and the logs have been already collected. So this is assumption basically, but you can see some of the logs that I can show you. Okay, so maybe for example 5G logs. I have both 5G logs and 4G logs, but please try to understand this one Gnode B log. Maybe later I will try to show the Wireshark logs also. Okay, Wireshark is one tool which we can see the multiple protocols, whatever is there as per the technology. Okay, so I'd like to give some brief introduction about this GNOP logs. So basically, I'll just give a brief scenario. which means um, just a UV is actually initiating an L3 call. This is the scenario. Okay, so for that UV side also we have some logs, and base station side also we have some logs. So if you are having a knowledge from the base station perspective, just a second, there is a hello. Yes. So what I'm trying to say, if you are having a little bit knowledge about the protocols, either it is RLC, PDCP, I have just showed some of the protocols. So some glimpse I will try to show you. Okay. So the actual scenario is UV is actually initiating and it is getting the control plane connected. That is the main scenario. So initially some configurations you can see, logs where we are actually collecting. Okay, where is the address that we are actually going to connect, like AMF address, and CUCP and CUUP. So CUCP and CUUP, I think I would like to give some sort of diagram, basically architecture diagram. It is quite interesting and also a little bit bigger diagram. Maybe I'll just try to show that diagram first by sharing that screen. Mm, okay, so can you able to see the screen? This is base station diagram. Is it visible? Can anybody confirm?
Yes, it is visible.
So this is basically G node B architecture. So here different parts are there. Basically the base station, when compared to 4G, it has been divided into multiple parts to take the advantage of cloud computing technologies and also to reduce the latency, to increase the scalability. Multiple advantages are there when compared to the 4G base station. So that's why anyway, I think from the RAN perspective, it has been evolved from the vRAN and also Cloud RAN, Virtual RAN, like that. So multiple evolutions happened from the RAN side. But here you can see in the 5G perspective, there has been a division, right? So the code, whatever I am trying to show now after the logs, so that contains basically this is the architecture that you can expect to understand about the code. Okay. So here I'm just trying to understand how many people are interested in development, how many people are interested in coding, or you don't have any idea. Can anybody give your uh, uh, just say development in the chat if you are interested in development, and say testing if you are interested in testing, so that I will come to know. Maybe you can give DEV for the development or test. So this is the message I'm just keeping here. Okay. So Balabhaskar, you are interested in testing, and Pattabhiram, you are interested in development. Okay. Yeah. How about Sandeep and Nitya? So maybe I'll consider testing or whatever. I think you can think over. Okay. Meanwhile, we can discuss. So idea here is different parts are there. CUCP and CUUP. CP means control plane, UP means user plane, CU means control unit, and DU means distributed unit. So basically this talks about the antenna specific configurations. So this is where our different layers will come into the picture, RLC, MAC and things like that. So anyway, I think it's a detailed discussion, channels and channel mappings and things like that. But we'll try to see from the logs perspective. I think this is good enough to understand this particular logs. Okay, so I'm just again resharing this um, with the help of the logs, what I'm actually trying to show. um, okay, yeah, okay. So here Okay, fine. So here you can see some configurations are there, some collection of logs, some files are there, right? So we are giving some configurations. So people who are from RF background can understand better here, right? Band and ARFCN and also channel bandwidth, right? Tag 7 common, tag means tracking area code, and this is the channel PDCCH, which means the control channel where UV can able to decode and also get the information with the help of DCA format. So here the format has been mentioned, and this is the search space. So these are all completely related to the PDCCH configuration, and this is for the initiation of the random access. So it's a huge log. So maybe like I just wanted to give some look and feel about how a logs looks like, whether it is matching to your knowledge, or whether it is something similar to 4G aspects, right? So you can see all the RRC related configurations in this, right? So configuration connections, basically connection establishment failure, and also this is for the initial configurations, initial BWP. So I think you have to understand the concept of BWP, then you can get this configuration proper understanding. Okay, there is a broadcast configuration, there is a paging configuration, initial uplink BWP, initial downlink BWP is also there, random access configuration. So it's little, I mean, without the domain knowledge understanding, it will be little difficult actually. Okay, these logs has been actually taken when, I mean, without any hardware basically. But currently our experiments are basically related to including hardwares actually. So we are just trying to showcase in the one of the conference happening in Delhi, inaugurated by PM of India. Um, so things that maybe you can involve also in that, in understanding what kind of projects that we are actually working on. Okay, so different protocols that you can observe here: RRC, PDCP, and UPF1, right? F1 interfaces. Multiple things are there. Some are related to NGAP, some are related to PDCP, which means it is very clear from the understanding. Maybe people who are coming from the protocol testing background also, they can get the things better, right? Anybody from protocol background here, testing I'm talking about. If you are from testing background, maybe you can mention in the chat window from the testing background. Okay, yeah. Okay, I think we can continue this. So I hope you got some idea about this. Okay, but coming to the skill set, basically what is actually needed in order to work in this, right? And what are the current job trends and requirements? So for that, I'd like to give some different view what iSignal is talking about, and also what kind of opportunities basically, right? So all these things that you'll come to know here in this particular discussion. I'll show you that part basically. Maybe yeah, you can check it. So I hope this screen is visible now. I'll come back to the I'll come back to the particular topic now. So this is Congo and setup. So we have something called as code development framework. So it's some code basically. It is purely based on C++ on Linux. So the code what you have to understand is basically C++ on Linux. If you are people who are going into the development, right? So people who are going to the development, C++ and Linux, we teach this completely. Okay, so and it is in very huge demand basically. 5G RAN development, 5G RAN development, and even if you are making an impact in the initial days, that is also fine. Either you can work on the 4G RAN development or 5G RAN development. So what you will be basically doing is there is something called as L1 and L2. Okay, L2 and L3. So these are the things in one of the layer that we'll be working on. But from the India perspective, what are the job roles, right? Majority of the time you will get a chance to work on L2 and L3, because L1 is completely physical layer we call it, L2 means basically MAC, RLC, PDCP. These are the protocols, because the current discussion is basically related to RAN. Okay, so because we are a RAN company, we are not a core company. Okay, we can concentrate on UV side and also base station side, because the biggest advantage in the RAN part is you can get the job in UV side also, you can get the job in RAN side, sorry, yeah, RAN side, which means base station side also. So multiple opportunities, multiple skill sets, right? Various things are there um, to explore, and also you have higher chances of getting anywhere basically. Okay, so we teach end to end basically, right from top to bottom, the protocol layers, whatever you have seen in the previous diagram. So these things you can see, SDAP, right, PDCP, all these things. And these are all some of the companies that we basically refer. Okay, we also will be having a requirement, ourselves itself will be having the requirement sometimes. Okay, that we will announce whenever there is a need, the products what we have. So I'm just trying to touch upon some brief aspects. These are all various products that we are actually working on, and this is okay, I think it's our services. So there is a employment gap, basically skill gap mainly. It's not just employment gap. People are required for the industry, right? You can see 22 million skilled workers are needed, right? Okay, and this kind of job roles that you can expect in the development and also in the testing. And okay, so coming to the testing, we are working on, I mean, we are actually working on building one tool, okay, which is called as UP analyzer, and user plane analyzer basically. Okay, and um, and from the testing perspective, majorly the job roles, either testing or a development, even if it is maintenance, will be working on the developer role. If you are a tester, you will be working on the log analysis. But this log analysis is very common across both development and testing profiles. But in the log analysis, developer will be majorly working on the uh, log analysis side, even though he knows C++, Linux, and things like that, 4G or 5G, whatever. Okay, so there are some remote jobs are also. This is just our process basically, right from profile screening. So today, what I have discussed in the second step. Okay, so profile screening should be something later after the demo. Okay, so I'm just mentioning here. So live demos basically, whatever I have showed you, um, it is just a brief introduction. Maybe if you want, you can request for the live demos. Currently, I have not planned for any demos. Demos in the sense, um, entire L3 call, right? That should happen. So that one I'll just keep it on hold. Maybe we'll take next time also, depending on your request. And these are all some of the live demos. Example, you can see these are all some demos, L3 call basically, that we have just showcased in the India Mobile Congress in New Delhi. Okay, so what we are actually covering is 4G. In 4G, what we actually cover, which is the development and also testing. And 5G, we have similar things, but 5G will be having little bit additional layers basically, and also the prerequisite for the 5G is completely 4G aspects. So this is the main thing. Just wanted to give the inputs. Okay, yeah. So I'm done with the discussion. So you have any questions? I would like to take any career aspects, and also what is your current concerns, right? Okay, I'll be open for the questions now. I'll take the questions. Any questions you have? Pattabhiram?
No.
Hello? I think you are on mute. If you are speaking, you are on mute. Bala Bhaskar, you have any questions? Or you wanted to know the curriculum?
Is it completely for the testing side and this one like RAN testing and development side, right? Is there any complete? Is there any what we can say like a continuous integration like that kind of thing? Is there like RAN integration side?
See, that kind of thing is not there. Um, testing, testing is a different field. Okay, different nature of work. I would say, not field. Okay,
Mhm.
different nature of work. Testing means I am talking about purely protocol side. Okay, people coming from RF background and different backgrounds I have mentioned, KPI, OAM, things like that. So deployment, okay. So integration also. So those people can switch very easily after the course completion or after the uh, working on multiple scenarios basically, because a testing profile expects working on the multiple scenarios and also dig deeper and try to analyze and come up with the bugs from the testing perspective based on the features developed by the development team. So this is how actually it looks like. Okay. Maybe if you want, I can go through the curriculum basically. So it is not integration work. It is basically
It is
development,
completely development.
completely development, but purely RAN. We are not concentrating on the core part. We are
Mhm.
concentrating on the RAN part. I think you know, right? Three parts are there. I just mentioned. We have UV
Yes.
side and we have RAN side and also we have core side. So three parts are there.
Mostly how much?
Yeah.
Mostly it will be useful for like what kind of like how much experience people can be refer to this. Like you can recommend this.
Okay.
How much experience? Like,
See, I won't recommend for the people who are having more than 10 years. Okay.
mhm.
And I always recommend for the early stage engineers to go into purely development, because what is currently happening is from the industry perspective, people are realizing very late, being in RF for so long time. Okay, this is
Mhm.
one of the untold truth actually. Okay. um, uh, but coming from the RF background and spending in so long years, okay, so it will be very difficult to cope up. But at the max, what I can recommend, even though people are having more than 10 years of experience or some career gaps, okay, I always recommend to go into the testing domain. Okay, and I mean protocol testing, that also we are taking care as a part of the course. But uh, it all depends actually. Some people, even though they are having good they are having career gaps, they wanted to enter into the coding. They are very curious about coding, but they will be searching who can teach or how to get into this, right? Development of the features. Okay, so these kind of things people will be wondering. For them, I would suggest to go into the development, but don't take so much risk after 10 years going into development. So testing is the best option for them. Okay, but people from the like 0 years or something, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. But since even though they are from the RF background or some protocol testing background, I recommend them to go definitely in the development. It takes some time, but there will be an excellent growth, excellent career in the next 20 to 30 years. Very good growth, because 6G is going to come as per the standards what we are currently focusing. 6G is going to come in the next 5 to 6 years basically. Currently, something called as release 19 is ongoing. Okay, release 18 already freezed. Maybe if you are from the 3GPP background, anybody from 3GPP background, they can understand better about this standards. Okay, so I signal also we have represented that in the 3GPP meeting in Hyderabad, happened in last May, previous May, actually. So my recommendation is up to 7 years, 8 years, you can go for development. People who are in the early stage of the careers, please try to go into the development. You have a very good career and you are so early realized and you are very lucky. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, got it, Ram.
Okay, okay. So Nitya, you have any questions?
And fine, Sriram.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
have
think,
any questions. Thank you.
okay. Yeah, maybe I think you can give some introduction about um, what you are currently looking for or things like that.
I just wanted to learn now actually. It's been very large gap for me actually. So I just want to know the current trend and everything.
Okay. Maybe you can start with
I'm not,
4G, I recommend, because even though a long web, see, it takes a sufficient amount of time, I would say. Okay.
yeah, I
Yeah.
have to study first actually. A lot of things to learn.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, because we are there in this particular field for so long years, including trainings also,
Yes.
because uh, the main intention why we have started this training is so
Mm-hmm.
many people are not realized or so much of career gaps and also early stages of the career, right? People are not realized, okay, about the um, either into, I mean, what is a career, what is the best career, who can guide in telecom, in
Mm-hmm.
wireless. So these kind of questions we got actually. Okay. And anyway, I think we are into the development for so long time, and there
Mm-hmm.
is a huge requirement. There is a huge skill gap basically. Mainly, people are
Mm-hmm.
not there in the companies who are extremely well performing with respect to the development of the features. At the same time, domain knowledge with respect to the testing. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
both are equally important, but what I can say from the jobs perspective or employment perspective that you can say, basically, for unfortunate truth is for every 40 or 50 developers, one tester will be there. This
Mm-hmm.
is very unfortunate truth. Okay, that's why I always recommend people to go into the development side, because developers once they are settled and they can't come out, they don't want to come out, that is the main thing. Okay, so but testers, right, if they are I mean, the main point here is I wanted to give an industrial cycle rather than jobs. Industrial cycle is something like first research will start and standards will be standardized, standard documents will be standardized, then the uh, products will be developed. This is the situation towards the jobs I'm talking about. Maybe from software jobs perspective. Okay, when it comes to the research, for example, currently 5G is being developed. Okay, but the point is 6G research is already started because okay,
Hello.
yes, question please.
Yeah. Hi, Sriram. Sorry
Yeah,
to disturb. I have some other meeting. I'm signing off. Okay. Thank you.
okay, okay, no problem.
Anything is there
We,
that you want?
yeah,
Yeah.
no problem. We can discuss later. I'll call you back. Okay, yeah,
Mm.
okay. So what I'm trying to say here, um, 4G is saturated, 5G is in development phase, and 6G is in um, research phase. This is the industry cycle. But in this particular cycle, when the RF jobs will come, when the development jobs will come, when the testing jobs will come, right? So this kind of cycle people are actually missing. Okay, this is the main reason why people are not able to realize so early or so lately whenever the situation arises. Okay, so my recommendation is to go into the development, but for the long gap career gaps, it is better to go into the testing side. Okay, so I hope I have answered your question. Okay, fine. Yeah, yeah, Pattabiram, you have any questions?
No, Rama, I'm fine. Yeah, that's
Okay, okay, fine. So we are actually starting one batch on 16th of September. Okay, which is I think on Monday actually. Okay, because we wanted to allow few people to come and join that particular batch. So it happens once in 2 months. So because we need to balance multiple discussions, multiple sessions, people who are from development background, right? So things like that, we need to take care from the coding perspective also. So Patabiram, I think you have some coding knowledge, or you have to start from the coding from scratch.
Yeah, I have some knowledge on C++ and
Oh,
basics on
great,
Java.
great.
So I need to brush up
Mm.
some.
C++ on Linux you have worked, or any Windows IDE you have worked?
In the Windows side, not on Linux.
Okay, not on Linux.
Yeah,
Okay. But what is your current wireless background?
sorry.
What is your current wireless background? Do you have any wireless or telecom background?
Yeah, I'm working on the telecom side. Yeah,
Okay, okay. Uh, okay. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm done with the discussion. Okay. Thank
yeah.
you for
Thank you.
joining.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, maybe I think we'll discuss offline related to the things. Okay. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah, yeah. Thank you all. Thank you.